Welcome back to Gamer Life, everybody. My name is Rich. Tonight is another edition of Smackdown in our WWE 2K19 Universe mode. It's coming back off the back of what was an absolutely nuts week last week. If you didn't see that one, it is up on the channel now. We had Kane going nuts, Paige challenging Charlotte for the women's title, and a whole lot more. I expect this week to be just the same, and Randy Orton's in the ring now, so let's hear what he's got to say. I've got a couple of things on my mind. So it's the first time I'm grabbing this mic in this universe mode, and the first thing that I want to address is what everybody has been asking. Who is this guy that I've been hanging around with, Razor Rivers? So let me tell you, firstly, he's clearly a guy that has been blessed with every physical gift that you can be given for this business. That is obvious, you can see that. But what you don't see is that he's also the smartest guy on this roster and still continues to learn all of the time. Now I can say this because for me, he has learned all he can at the performance centres, yet you still will always find him there. And he's the first rookie that has ever came up to me and says, do you know what? How do I become the next Randy Orton? So, you know, I started to tell him, and he was like, no, I don't mean this Randy Orton. I mean the old Randy Orton, the legend killer Randy Orton. And by the way, where has that guy gone anyway? And this took me completely by surprise, so I stand there for a couple of seconds just looking at him and then questioning myself where that Randy Orton has gone. So you see, just from that question alone, it shows that he's switched on and he's way further ahead in his development than any of the guys that are coming through. He's smarter than any of you in this arena, any of you in the back. And I know you're going to be watching this, Razor. So stick with me, kid, and you've got a bright future ahead of you. And now that we've addressed that and got that out of the way, just a quick mention to my results. They're as good as they've ever been. So with that being said, all of the champions on this show, as of now, you are all on notice. It's time for Randy Orton to get gold back around my waist. Okay then, interesting stuff there from Randy. He's obviously had a lot to say tonight, but he's got it done, and we've found out a little bit more about who this Razor Rivers guy is that he's been hanging around with. And you've got to say, there's a lot worse superstars to pick that have had a lot worse careers to mentor you than Randy Orton. And the fact that he's even had the balls to go up to him and question what Randy's been doing lately as well, we will see how that relationship develops. But as for the rest of the night, we are kicking off with another match tonight for Paige. After challenging Charlotte last week, she's now looking to strengthen her claim for a women's title shot, and she's going to have to do that against Tamina, which is not going to be an easy task at all. It's actually a big chance now. Paige has shone light on her name for Tamina to go and upset her and then put her name just in the bright lights as well, so that can be a highly competitive one, and you know that Charlotte's going to be keeping a close eye on that one. Following Tamina and Paige, we have the family back in action tonight, and they're going to be going up against Rusev Day. It's a chance for Rusev Day here to pick up their first win in Universe mode. We have seen them before, but unfortunately the first time that we've seen them, they couldn't get the job done, so they're currently sitting at 0-1 with their one-loss record. And they're going up against the family, who won their first match. If you remember rightly, it was back a few weeks ago now. They won it by count out, which actually caused them to fall out a bit after the match, but all that aside, the one-loss record is at 1-0, so yeah, it's a good chance for them to build on that tonight, and for, like I said, Rusev Day to get their first Universe mode win. And for the family side of things, if you're wondering why there's no Nikki or Brie with them tonight, they're obviously off doing other things. They're not actually here tonight, so that's the only reason why you won't see them. And then we move on to Ricochet versus R-Truth. Truth, as we know, has been around WWE for a while, but it is his first Universe mode appearance tonight. And he's going against a guy in Ricochet who has got a real big buzz around his name. We have seen Ricochet already, but unfortunately for him, it wasn't one-on-one competition. He was put in as part of a fatal 4-way, which meant he couldn't get the job done. It puts him at 0-1 with his 1-loss record, but he gets a chance to rectify that tonight. It's not going to be easy. Like I say, Truth's been around a while now. He's still in fantastic condition as well. So it should be a really good competitive one, that one. Looking forward to it, and good luck to the both of them. And next up is going to be Shelton Benjamin going against Randy Orton. So Shelton is 0-1 at the moment in Universe mode, and he's got an absolute mountain of a task to try and put that right tonight against Randy Orton, who is at 4-0. He's in the form of his life right now. We heard him talking about it earlier. He's motivated to get gold back as well, so there'll be no foot off the gas for Randy tonight. And just to stack the odds against Shelton even more, just as we did against Bobby Lashley last week, we're going to see Razor Rivers come out and study Randy in the ring from close up again. So yeah, it's all pointing towards Randy, and Shelton has got a huge job on tonight. But we'll see if he can get it done. Anything can happen in Universe mode. We keep saying that, and just lately it usually has been, so there's not much of a chance, but there is a chance for Shelton. And then we move into the women's division, our second women's division match of the night. It is going to be Asuka, and she's going up against Becky Lynch. And this is a really interesting situation because before Paige challenged Charlotte out in public in front of the crowd last week, the names being thrown around in the women's division for the #1 contendership, well, there was really only one that Charlotte addressed herself, and that was Asuka, who has continued to impress since. But now Paige has kind of put herself in the picture. Obviously we've seen that she's going to be going up against Tamina tonight as well, so if she wins that, then who is the actual #1 contender? Well, we don't know, but Asuka has just got to keep winning, I suppose, and keep her name in the hat there. And then our first live match tonight sees the current Money in the Bank team going up against a few of Smackdown's superstars. Obviously we know that there's another slot in the Money in the Bank team at the moment. There is only the 3, and we need a 4th. That'll probably resume next week to get the final name in the hat. As of yet it hasn't been mentioned, but we surely can't be leaving it much later. But we'll talk about that more as we go through. And then tonight is the rematch of Big E versus AJ Styles. AJ has asked for this match after picking up his win against Shinsuke. Obviously feeling a lot more confident, and he wants to right the wrong of the loss against Big E. Well, we'll see whether he can get that done or not, but we will again talk about that more as the match is going through later on. As you can see though, it is a really stacked card, highly important matches all through, so yeah, really looking forward to this one tonight, guys. I hope that you are too. Throw your comments down below who you think's gonna win and how things are shaping up, and just what you feel of the series in general at the moment. That would be great help. Like I've said before, I do want your input in this, guys. I want it to be as interactive as it can possibly be. I want you to be the team that is helping Chris Hammer run this show. For now though, we'll get into some results, and as you can see, Paige has indeed beaten Tamina, so that is a big win for Paige. That's 2-0 for her now in singles competition. We know she's obviously dropped one match, but that was a multi-woman match, so yeah, 1-on-1 at the moment. Paige wins another one, so that is a great result for her. Following that matchup was the family against Rusev Day. Like I say, the family without any of the Bellas help tonight, but they still got the job done. There was another fallout between them after this match, because this wasn't a no count out win, but it was a DQ win. So again, they're still yet to pin or tap anyone out, but they are nevertheless 2-0 in their 1-loss record now. Okay, and before we continue with the results, we've got to take our attention to the back because something's happened again there, and Mike Kanellis is lying there still. Do not tell me that this attacker has struck once again here tonight, and again it's it's Kanellis. Why would someone take out Kanellis? He's not in any title pictures or anything, which kind of throws the AJ Styles thing right out the window. So it could be that we're back to square one with this again now. We'll have to wait and see the developments and the fallout of this once again, but it's getting ridiculous right now. Somebody has to do something about this. Right guys, back to the results. Ricochet tonight picks up a victory against R-Truth, so that is massive for Ricochet. A bit of a shame for Truth, he could have come in on winning ways, but unfortunately for him, it just was not to be tonight. But here in Universe mode, that is the way that it goes. It is a competition, so there's always going to be someone happy, someone upset. It's the nature of the way things are here, so yeah, back to the drawing board for Truth, but onwards and upwards possibly now for Ricochet. And then we move on, and it's Shelton Benjamin. He could not get the job done against Randy Orton, which was probably, let's face it, it was to be expected really, especially with Razor out there, who, let me tell you, really played up to being smart, what Randy was on about earlier. He was taunting the crowd all the way through, just pointing to his brain and things like that. The energy in the arena turned really, really sour for Orton, but he seemed to thrive on it. So yeah, maybe he's manipulated the crowd there, Rivers, who knows. But in any event, when it all was done, all the dust had settled, it was Randy Orton pinning Shelton's shoulders to the mat for that all-important 3 count. That is 5-0 for Randy now. He's really, not just on Smackdown, I think overall he's one of the form guys in the entire WWE Universe mode at the moment. And then we move to the women, and just as Paige did earlier, which makes this women's division start becoming really interesting now, circling around that #1 contendership, we've got Paige, who's put herself in the picture, Asuka, who's, like I said, her name's been thrown around and mentioned in the #1 contenders picture. So you got a few contenders now just starting to circle around Charlotte at the minute, and she might be starting to have a bit of a situation on her hands. But with Paige winning and with Asuka winning, that makes that really interesting at the moment, and we'll have to see what that means for the women's division and what it means to Becky Lynch, because what she's doing at the moment is clearly just not working. I am sure she will figure it out though, and that leads us nicely into our first live match of the evening. A lot of highly motivated competitors in this one, so I'm looking forward to this. Let's jump straight in and see how we get on. A team, though I think they've only had one outing, but they did win it. And also as singles competitors, they've still got each other's backs, and they've both been successful in singles competition as well. So real upside since Universe mode started for the bar, and I would expect that probably to continue tonight. I do give the Money in the Bank guys the slight edge, and it is literally just based on the bar here. It's tag format, and obviously the bar being a tag team. And also, if you want to talk about that as well, I suppose we have to add Eric Young, who's also part of a team with Sanity. So they all get the team game, these guys on the Money in the Bank team at the moment. So that might just give them an edge tonight. I do get what Hammer is trying to do with his team, trying to gel this little unit. It's not complete yet. Don't forget that there's still another space available on Team Smackdown for the Money in the Bank match itself. But with what we've got at the moment, I get that he's trying to gel it together and trying to get that briefcase over here on Smackdown. Well, to Smackdown, sorry, from Raw. I understand that. I'm just wondering whether it is actually gonna work or not, because at the end of the day, when that bell rings at Money in the Bank, all these guys are gonna be forgetting about colours and brands and companies and businesses and all that lot, and they're just gonna be thinking, what do I have to do to win that briefcase for me? Not for Smackdown, or not for Raw, or not for Batista, or not for Chris Hammer, or either of their teams. Just what do I have to do to get that briefcase for me, because it's going to be my title shot then. And that sort of environment and that situation, that match that's the kind of thinking that it's gonna breed. And I'm not sure if this whole whatever you do, make sure it comes to SmackDown thing is actually going to work. For me personally, I think if I was competing, even in this match tonight, if I'm Sheamus, I want to see Cesaro and Eric Young here get softened up a bit on the way to the pay-per-view, even though Cesaro is my friend. The same with Sheamus. They're not going to come out and say it, of course they're not, but that's probably what they're going to be thinking. At least that's what I would be thinking. And the same with Eric Young here. He's going to want to see Sheamus and Cesaro get beaten down tonight. You want to be in this match as little as possible. And really and truly, you do want to keep your ring shape and stamina and such things like that up, but at the same time you're not going to want to be in the ring too much on the way to that match, I wouldn't have thought. But that's just my thoughts. Maybe you guys think differently, maybe these guys in the ring think differently, but that's what I would be thinking. I just want to get in tonight, get the W, get out. While I'm on the apron, the match can take as long as it wants, as long as I'm not in the ring and getting involved there. So that's my thoughts on the situation. I don't agree with what Chris Hammer is trying to do. Well, I agree with what he's trying to do, but I just don't see it working, is what I'm trying to say. And tonight, yeah, we'll see whether I'm right or wrong or not. But on his way to the ring now is Cassius Ohno, the first part of the SmackDown guys tonight. This guy, he's only had one opportunity and he didn't get the W, so he's had to sit and patiently wait for another opportunity tonight. So this is big for him in front of the cameras. It's a main event caliber match, which is obviously why it's being shown live. And he's against what are already confirmed as 3 pay-per-view quality opponents, because obviously they are going to Money in the Bank. So if you win tonight, that's going to raise your stock massively if you can be the one who gets the actual decision as well. I imagine that would be quite huge for your career as well, especially if you're completely new to the brand like Cassius Ohno is. He's only been here a few weeks after coming up from NXT, and like I said, he's only been in the ring once. We might have seen him more had he won, because again, that's the nature of the beast here in Universe mode. And the same with this man Lashley. He's been waiting for an opportunity. In fact, he demanded an opportunity a couple of weeks ago, issued a completely open challenge to anyone who wanted to fight him, and nobody took him up on that. So the week after, he'd been complaining during the week. Hammer and the team gave him an opportunity to go out there and be the one to stop Randy Orton. He couldn't get it done, but for him, he hasn't had to wait too long to get another opportunity. He's been thrown in this match tonight, and this could propel his career as well. It's going to be a huge confidence boost, and maybe, just maybe, people like Jericho who have been here for a while know that if you can get the decision tonight against one of the Money in the Bank competitors, maybe that gives you an opportunity to qualify into that team yourself. So there might be a bit of selfish needs. That's only just come to my mind actually. So there might be a bit of selfishness, and you might again see that there won't be as much tagging from SmackDown against the Money in the Bank boys, and you would assume there's going to be a lot of tagging and trying to keep each other fresh between the Money in the Bank boys, because they're not going to want to take a beating, like I said earlier, on the way to this pay-per-view. So yeah, opportunities all over the place tonight, and maybe, just maybe, like I said, the winners, the one who gets the decision or whatever, if SmackDown beats Money in the Bank, puts themselves right into at least a chance to qualify for that match. But we'll have to wait and see how that develops. But in any event, Jericho, again, as he normally does, is just soaking up the spotlight at the minute. He absolutely loves it. He did say all the way back in week 1 when he was against Mysterio, before that match got underway, that he was really excited by this Universe mode starting. and a chance to really get yourself back to the top and forget about former glories and failings more to the point all those get washed away. And he did start positively. He got the win against Mysterio, but then he ran into a bit of trouble trying to deal with Samoa Joe, who beat him twice, and we've had to wait to see him again since then. I have to say, on the Money in the Bank team, nobody has suffered from what Jericho or Cassius Ohno have suffered from through losing, because they've all, in singles competition, none of them have dropped a match yet. I mentioned earlier in the tag division, and that's seen the bar of 1-0 as well. So the only person who's tasted any kind of defeat at all is Eric Young, and I don't think he was in the ring competing when Sanity dropped that match. He was just outside, so none of these guys yet have tasted defeat, which yeah, that bodes well for SmackDown, to be honest, going into the Money in the Bank. But if we're being completely honest about it, that match is just a complete and utter lottery, and Cesaro, the uncharacteristic of him, makes a big error, and he's opened the door for Cassius Ohno here to deliver a big move early on in this match, and he does get it done as well. Massive superplex already early on in the match. That's not going to feel good for Cesaro. But I bet you that there's inside for Sheamus, there's a little smile there from Eric Young as well, as the saw Cesaro take that big impact, and another one there from Lashley. It's SmackDown, incidentally, who made the first tag of the match as well. Cesaro just too quick and too experienced there for Lashley. And now he's going to look to deliver something big of his own. Huge powerbomb there from Cesaro, who pound for pound is probably every bit as strong as Lashley. Obviously not overall, because Lashley weighs a lot more, but pound for pound, Cesaro's probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest, in Universe mode, especially I would say on SmackDown. And he tags in his buddy Sheamus now, who again, he's in just as good condition as Cesaro himself. Lashley now though has took over the match. I think Cesaro took a little bit too long getting Sheamus into the match there, and he's now suffering for it again. We don't know whether that's going to be slightly on purpose or not. We're going to have to put those thoughts aside at the moment, I think. But at any event, Sheamus tried there to regain control of the match, couldn't get it done. Lashley now is going to bring Sheamus right where he doesn't want to be, and that's in the corner of the SmackDown boys. And Cassius, oh no, now the big axe handle to the arm there for Sheamus, followed up by a nice back suplex, and Sheamus is in a little bit of trouble here now, and he's right again in the corner of the SmackDown team. And Cassius picks him up, nice showing of strength there from Ohno, dropping him right across the top rope, and he does allow Eric Young to get into this match. That was a bit of a mistake there from Cassius, that inexperience showing. He does well there though to just get out, and now he gets out the match as well. That's actually very well played there from Ohno, and gets the experienced man in Y2J. Delivers the DDT to Eric Young early, but Young comes straight back. And this is what momentum does for you. This is what wins does for you. At the moment, they're just full of confidence, this Money in the Bank team. Oh, nice float over, swinging net break from Jericho though, just to take Eric Young down. But again, he's not staying down for long, and it's a Luther's press and some nice right hands there from Young, taking control of Jericho once again. But not for long. The veteran at the moment will not be denied, and he's going to just throw Young out the ring and break his momentum and get out of the match himself there, Y2J. There's actually been more tags from Team SmackDown than there have been from the Money in the Bank winners, which really surprises me. I thought that would have been the other way around for definite. Young's looking to get out of the match now though, as he tags Cesaro back in. We've not seen Cesaro win for a few minutes now, so he's had a chance to recover. And we'll see now if they can use that team chemistry they've already got, these three Money in the Bank winners. But The answer to that would be no, because, oh, that's a nice move there. Cassius, oh no, just pulls one out of the bag. He's took a little bit of punishment, not a lot, but again, quickly gets out of the match and brings Jericho back in to take on Cesaro now. Cesaro's grabbed Jericho and he's going to try and walk him back to the Money in the Bank corner, but he's unable to do so. Jericho fights out of it again and scoops up Cesaro. Good power shown there from Jericho. Not too sure what he's trying to do here though. He just drops Cesaro on the top roll and he just takes himself a little bit of a breather there, Jericho. Beats Cesaro to the punch, kick to the gut, and he's going to try and pick the leg, but Cesaro says no and just buries a knee into the kidney area of Jericho there. That would definitely have hurt. But again, Jericho's right back on the offense. No team here at the moment is able to keep the other ones down for long. There's been no isolation of anybody in this match. They've all just been right on top of their game tonight. It's been too good. They've all been too good for one another. No one, like I say, able to establish any kind of dominance. But Team Smackdown are going to try and change that now. As Cesaro is put up on the top rope again. Hurricane Rana from Jericho into a powerbomb from Lashley. That's a nice move there. And again, it's Cesaro taking the big impacts in this match. He really doesn't want to be doing too much of that. But he delivers big impact himself there. Again, showing the power against Lashley. And he's put himself in with one of them trademark European uppercuts. He's put himself in a bit of control here now. Lashley could actually be in a bit of trouble here. It's Team Money in the Bank's turn to deliver something, and they do. Cesaro holds Lashley up. Sheamus hits Lashley with the bro kick, and he's in the wrong corner though, really. Oh, that was nasty there on Jericho from Cesaro. Jericho would not have even seen that coming. Lashley, to be fair to him, did kick out of that move. He wasn't saved, and now he's showing his power against Sheamus as he's just walking around with him. And now he's going to drop him in the suplex. This time it's a big impact on Sheamus, not Cesaro. And Lashley is going to look to end this one by the looks of it. He's going to go for the spear, but Sheamus leapfrogs him. Nice agility there from Sheamus, and now puts him into a backbreaker. A second backbreaker. And where we are, we're going for the third. That's three big, huge backbreakers from Sheamus on the back of Lashley there, and that is definitely going to hurt. But again, that move cannot be followed up, and Lashley this time gets right back up and right back on the offense. And at the moment, like I say, Sheamus has gone a bit mad here. He's just pounding on Lashley, but again, Lashley just steps aside and gets back in control of the match himself. Even after that triple backbreaker from Sheamus, still there is no control in anyone else for a long period of time in this match. Jericho again now uses his experience. He felt that one coming and was just able to move out the way and drop Sheamus's throat on the second rope. And now he's going to look to put him in the walls of Jericho. Sheamus, he's got to fight out of this, but he's nowhere near his corner, and nobody's actually coming in to try and save him, which is a bit shocking. But that could be what I was on about earlier, just that mindset of letting your opponents suffer before you get to the big pay-per-view match yourself. Sheamus though, after being in the walls of Jericho, hits a bro kick out of nowhere, and that could be, there was a little stutter step from him though. Jericho could be out here. It's one, it's two, and it's a kick out from Jericho. That was a nice little sequence of moves there. Jericho just about shot that shoulder off the canvas, but surely now there's going to be control from this Money in the Bank team. Jericho was almost out there. Nice back elbow from Eric Young. Goes to kick Jericho in the back, but Jericho gets out the way again. And still, even after the bro kick, he's fighting, and there's still a struggle for control in this match. And a big DDT from Jericho there. He needs really to get out of the match now, but he's not gonna. He's gonna look for something big himself, and he missed. Whatever he was going for there, he did not hit it, but Young's gonna hit something here by the looks of it. He's got Jericho in the powerbomb position, and it's a big running powerbomb, throwing Jericho right where he does not want to be, right into the corner of this Money in the Bank team. And Young now, is he going to go for something else, or is he going to go for the pin? He's trying to drag Jericho in a position here for something. It's a wheelbarrow neck breaker. Nice move from Young there. Haven't seen that before. And now he's going to go for the pin on Jericho again, but oh no's in this time. The ref's out now as well. This could get out of hand right here. Sheamus is just beating up on Cassiusono and then decides to just get out the match. Eric Young, for some reason, that's a mistake in my book. Jericho's been in trouble and he's thrown him out of the ring. He really needed to keep the pressure on him for me there. And Jericho now reverses the big right hand drop kick, puts him right against that LED board on the apron now. And Young's now in trouble when he could have had Jericho, and Jericho was close to being beaten. For me there, he's made a mistake. We'll wait and see if it costs some or not, but for me he made a mistake. He did just bounce Jericho's head off the apron though. Now Jericho's got him up and it's like a sit out scoop slam type move there. And Jericho now again gains control. We're up to 7 at the moment. And now Y2J again should be getting out of this match, but like I was on about earlier, if he feels that Young's almost beaten, he might want to stay in there and get a decision himself, or he might not because he's just tagged in Lashley on an already hurting Young. Oh, that's a big Irish whip there. That's really going to have hurt Eric Young. He's starting to take some impacts himself now. All of Team Money in the Bank has suffered at one point or another during this match. And Lashley at the moment is feeling really confident and like finally someone's going to take control of this match. He thinks it's going to be him. He's just deadlifted Eric Young up off the canvas and it's a running power slam. He's going straight for the cover, but Young's out at 1. That's going to be a bit demoralising now, but Lashley stays calm and just keeps the pressure on, which is exactly what I think Young should have done to Jericho a couple of minutes ago. We've seen this suplex earlier. He's going to hit it again now, this time on Eric Young. He's just going to walk around, take his time with him and bang, high impact suplex there again. Lashley just has that kind of match ending, game changing power. He only really needs to hit a couple of moves and it is all done and dusted, and he's going to look for a big move here now with the spear. He hits him and he's straight into the cover as well. 1, 2, and Sheamus saves it for Team Money in the Bank. Big moment there from Sheamus, because I think that was it for Young. He's going to get gut wrenched up here now into a power slam. Again, a deadlift from Bobby Lashley. What's he doing now? For some reason he's just jumped out the ring and slid straight back in. Don't fully understand that, but that just momentary lapse in concentration there allows Young now to tag out the match, and we've got the fresh Sheamus in. Sheamus, who just saved the match, he's now got to deliver something really big, because I feel like the momentum is starting to switch to the Smackdown boys now. It's the first time I've felt like anyone's really gained an upper hand or an advantage in this match, but I feel like Smackdown are just starting to turn the screw at the moment. But saying that, Sheamus has had good moments. Whoa, how did Lashley just do that? I don't know how on earth he just did whatever it was he just did there, but it saved him because Sheamus was starting to take over this match just a little bit. But again, it's swinging back into the Smackdown boys' favour, and Sheamus finds himself in Smackdown's corner. And Lashley's delivered the impact, and now Jericho, he's going to just play to the crowd there before he gets to work. But he's just going to use that experience now at a big time in this match. Like I said, Smackdown just seem to be gaming the upper hand just that little bit at the moment, and Jericho now, he's going to come in and use his experience and try actually and close this one out. It's the second time now Sheamus has been in the walls. Is he going to get out this time? He's a bit closer to the ropes, but he can't take it. Sheamus taps out, and Team Smackdown have beaten Money in the Bank. That is a huge shock in my book. I had Money in the Bank winning this just because of the team chemistry, but to be completely honest with you, we didn't see much of that at all in this match. If anything, there was a lot more tags, a lot more chemistry from Team Smackdown, and I'll have to wonder if it's anything to do with what I was on about earlier, about there being just secret little agendas between the Money in the Bank team at the moment. Sheamus finds himself in the walls of Jericho twice. He managed to power out the first time, couldn't do it the second time. He tapped out a little bit quick for me because he was close to the ropes, but he was in it twice. None of his partners come to save him either time, and maybe he thought, let me just tap here, I don't want to spend too long in this. I don't want that wear and tear on my body going into the Money in the Bank match. And yeah, Team Smackdown pick up a big win there. And you've got to wonder now, is one of them or of all of them impressed enough to get themselves a Money in the Bank qualifying match to fill that final spot for Team Smackdown? We will have to wait and see on that one, but interesting stuff there, interesting. And it is now time for the main event. But before then, we've got to show you something that happened during that match backstage. We couldn't get the cameras there then. We're looking at, that is The Undertaker again. Okay, I see why we had to show you that now. Kane is being stalked by an older version of The Undertaker we've not seen for an awfully long time. I don't get what it is that's going on there or where this is going, but it is very freaky indeed. I know that Kane was very frustrated by not being on the card tonight after what happened to him last week though. Chris Hammer and the team thought it might be better that he just gets himself back together, but Kane showed up anyway. He was apparently, while that was going on, just collecting his gear, ready to go and leave the arena, because obviously this is the main event now and he's not in it. So he was starting to leave, and then he starts feeling something, turns around, sees The Undertaker, then The Undertaker's not there, sees The Undertaker again, then The Undertaker's not there. He's really playing some heavy mind games with Kane at the moment, is The Undertaker. I really don't understand it. Maybe Kane does, who knows at this point. But we're going to have to leave that there, and we really need to start focusing in on this main event now. It is Big E versus AJ Styles. It's a rematch. Obviously the first time these two met back in week 2, Big E did get the win against AJ. But Styles has now got a win under his belt finally, and he's feeling much better about himself than he was. So Big E's going to have a very tough task to repeat what he did tonight, but he's more than capable of doing it, is Big E. I see bright things for him in this universe mode. But now, hold on just a minute, I was going to say it is time for AJ, and it is time for AJ, but this time Styles is not coming alone. We haven't seen him since he beat Shinsuke in that match, that Champion vs Champion match, and maybe this here is why it looks as though he's put the club back together. He's got his buddies with him. See, Big E last time, I don't think he had New Day with him. It was completely one-on-one, but this time Styles has got his boys, Big E's got his boys with him, so this has the potential to be an absolute cracker anyway. And AJ asking for this match has put a hell of a lot of pressure on himself tonight. Going to Hammer and saying, I want this, I want to avenge this loss, I want to avenge all of my losses, which means at some point Styles and Randy Orton are once again going to meet up. But this week it's Big E. Obviously he can't re-challenge Daniel yet because Daniel's still out injured. But yeah, he's going to re-challenge Big E, and maybe it'll be Randy Orton next week, who knows. But for now, he can't look at who's next, he's got to look at who's here, because Big E is no joke. He's full of potential. This guy is explosive, he's fit, he's strong, he's motivated, he's hungry, he's got everything he needs to have a really good career here in this universe mode. But if he can get past AJ tonight, then surely he puts himself as the main #1 contender, having picked up 2 wins over the champion. AJ is going to do his absolute best, and he give it his utmost to see that does not happen. So I'm really intrigued to see where this one's going to go, especially with both the New Day and the club outside now. This has the potential to be a huge match. Oh, beautiful Brian Buster there by Styles. And he's on the offense, but this is what I mean by Big E. Styles just kicked him full in the spine, and Big E just shrugged it off and ran straight through him. So Big E still himself might just not be at 100% just yet. We know only a couple of weeks ago he was taken out. He's come back early. He tried to get into the Money in the Bank match. That didn't happen for him. But there's just this opportunity tonight again to beat the champion and put his name right back in that title picture. He was supposed to have a title or a number one contenders match against Randy Orton, remember, just before he got took out. So it's been through no fault of his own, Big E, but he's had his opportunities taken away from him by this attacker. We still don't know who's doing and who's causing these attacks. The one on Kanellis earlier really, for me, just shifts the blame away from AJ now. He was looking like a number one suspect because he had something to gain through all of these attacks, but this one against Kanellis that's happened here tonight, as yeah, I'm not too sure I know who it is now. I'm not sure if Chris Hammer and that has got any closer to finding out with his team who it is, but they've took out Kanellis tonight. They took out Big E. He rushed himself back. Understandably so. He wanted to be number one contender. It couldn't happen, so he put himself in the Money in the Bank qualifiers. Wasn't quite ready after that attack, but he's been given like his hat trick. This is his third strike of opportunities tonight in very, very quick succession, and if he can pull this one off, then surely for me he has to get a title shot. He really just has to. The only person really I would say in front of him at the moment in terms of pure results would be Randy Orton himself, but yeah, if Big E gets 2 wins over the champion, then surely he gets himself a title shot. But very interesting that Styles has put the club back together. There was no mention of that during the weeks or anything going on backstage, so that's been worked out between the 3 friends. Very, very cards close to the chest type stuff there, but that's going to give Styles and the club a huge confidence boost, you've got to say, as we go into the calf crusher now. But Big E's right in the ropes, luckily for him now. Styles is going to go for a pin now. It's one. It's going to take more than that to keep someone as strong as Big E down. He didn't really spend any time in the calf crusher. Luckily for him, he was right by the ropes, but Styles is going to look to put the finishing touches to him now. Yeah, you can only assume he's going to go for it. He has the phenomenal forearm. Is he going to go for the cover? He is. Big E's in trouble here. 1, 2, and 3. Big E can't kick out. That is it. Styles has avenged his loss to Big E now. And all that talk of title shots and opportunities may have just gone out the window. Big E, unfortunately for him, he's not looked himself since he's come back from that injury. For me, he needs to go and take a couple of weeks away, just get himself right, because he's playing through the pain at the moment, but that has cost him a second loss here now in Universe mode. Styles moves from a losing streak into a winning one now. That's 2 in a row for AJ, starting to put things right. He was always going to turn it round, he's too good not to. But with the club by his side now as well, AJ could go on a massive streak. We'll have to find out, but one thing is for certain, he's got the job done tonight against an opponent who is no joke. His timing's been brilliant to ask for this rematch, much like Randy Orton did to him. He knows Big E's not fully recovered from that attack backstage yet, and he's cashed in and took full advantage there, AJ. Fair play to him. That is going to be the end of this wild night though here on Smackdown. I hope you have all enjoyed it. It's been so much fun making it again. I can't stress enough how much fun this actually is. I hope it comes across to you guys. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all well, and I hope you will all be back for Raw. I will see you soon. Once again, my name's been Rich. This has been Gamer Life. This has been a great episode of our Universe mode. Hopefully, like I said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.